Welcome to Skill Hub Academy and thanks for signing up. Let's get started with the fundamentals of WordPress web design. WordPress is a content management system that is used to build different kinds of websites without coding. And that's exactly what we are going to be doing in this course, building different kinds of websites without writing a single line of code. All right, what do you need in order to build a WordPress website? There are basically four things you're going to need if you want to build a professional WordPress website. The first thing you would need is a domain. A domain is your web address. Every website has a web address such as facebook.com, google.com, instagram.com, jumia.com.ng. That's the web address, and that is what we refer to as a domain. So you must register a domain, and domain registrations are yearly. They are renewable yearly. When you register a domain, you renew it yearly, or you lose ownership of the domain. Another person can re-register a domain that you've previously owned if you don't renew it every year. Generally, a domain contains the name of the website with an extension such as .com, .org, .ng, .com.ng, .ai, and so on and so forth. So the extension you choose depends on the nature of the website you want to build. But the most popular domain extension is the .com extension, and that's what we will be registering in this course. We are going to be registering a .com domain. All right, the next thing you're going to need when you want to build a professional WordPress website is web hosting. So web hosting is the service that makes your website available and accessible over the internet. Without web hosting, your website is going to be offline. So if you want your website to be available and accessible on the internet at any time anyone wants to visit it, you're going to need a web hosting service. So the third thing we are going to need when building a professional website is a theme. So a theme is what determines the look and feel of your website. So you're basically going to need a theme to give your website the look and feel that you want. So we are going to need a theme as one of the requirements for building a professional WordPress website. And lastly, we are going to be needing plugins, right? So plugins give functionality to a WordPress website. That's the beauty of WordPress. There are lots of plugins available to add any sort of functionality you want to add to your WordPress website. So the good thing is most of these themes and plugins are available for free in the WordPress repository. So when you feel the need to add advanced functionalities to your website, you can go for the premium ones. So, but for now, we are going to be going with the free themes and the free plugins if you're just getting started. So these are basically the four things we need to build a professional WordPress website. So we will right away get started with the first two, which are domain and web hosting. There are 1,000 domain name registrars and web hosting companies out there. A few of them are GoDaddy, Namecheap, Bluehost, SiteGround, and so on and so forth. There are thousands and thousands of them. But there are certain criteria we need to have in mind before we begin our domain registration and purchasing web hosting. So some of these criteria we must take into consideration are that the web hosting service we have to choose must be very fast. You know, that nobody likes to visit a slow loading website. Your website needs to be served quickly to your website visitors in order to give them a very good experience. So we need to consider the speed of the web hosting company and the web hosting service you're choosing. We need to also consider the reliability of the web hosting company. You know, your website needs to be available on the internet 24/7. You wouldn't want to deal with any downtimes, especially if you're running a serious business. So your website has to be available on the internet 24/7. So that's one of the conditions we must, one of the factors we must consider in order to purchase web hosting. And another factor to look at is the affordability of the service. How affordable is it? You wouldn't want to blow all your budget hosting a website. So you need a web hosting service that is affordable, and a hosting service that provides you an SSL certificate. An SSL certificate is the security certificate installed on your website that makes your website secure and safe for online transactions. It encrypts data that is transmitted over your website to make sure even if somebody is entering credit card details and purchasing anything from your website, their data, the information they enter will be very safe. So no attacker or hacker will have access to their information. So these are the four factors we must consider in order to choose a web hosting service. Now, with all those four factors in mind, there is one company that stands head and shoulder over the rest, which is Bluehost. I use Bluehost for most of my hosting, and I strongly recommend it. So Bluehost gives you a free domain in addition to all the other factors we have taken into consideration. You're going to get a free domain for 1 year, and their hosting plans are also very affordable. The cheapest plan begins from $2.75 per month. And when you do your conversion, that should give you something like 1,000 naira per month. So in a nutshell, you're going to be spending like 12,000 naira per year to register your domain and purchase web hosting for 1 year. So that's quite affordable, especially considering the quality of their service when you compare them with other web hosting providers. So let's get started by visiting Bluehost through this link in order to claim our free domain and purchase web hosting. The link is bluehost.com track skill hub. So we are going to go here right away. You can copy this to your browser, or you can just enter this address directly on your browser in order to visit Bluehost and claim your free domain. Remember, you're going to register the free domain together with your web hosting plan, which you will purchase. So we are going to get started with our domain registration and setting up our web hosting account. So the first thing we'll do is to enter this address on our browser, which is bluehost.com/track/skill-hub. So when you do that, you'll be redirected to a page where you'll be able to claim your free domain and start your registration from there. Right, this is the Bluehost page. So you can get started by clicking on this button. The next thing is to select your hosting plan. So we are going to go with this, which is the basic plan. So you simply just need to click select and proceed. Next, let's enter the domain we want to register and see if it is available. If it's not available, we'll have to change the keywords on the domain and start a different search. But if the domain is available, we'll proceed with the registration and we'll purchase web hosting right away. So let's start with the domain name search. I'm going to enter this here. So this is the domain I want to register now, and the extension I want to register is .com. So it is by default selected. So I am going to click next. Fantastic. The domain is available. So as you can see on the screen, this domain is available. I am going to proceed with registering this domain with my basic information. So I can simply sign up with my Gmail address, but let's enter the information manually so you'll have an idea of the sort of information that is required of you during domain registration. So the first thing here is to enter your first name, and then your last name. You enter this other information, including your address, your phone number, and the email address. Very important. Remember, you must have an active email address, because everything regarding your account will be communicated to you via email on the email address you provide. So be sure to have an active email address. So we are starting off with the basic plan. We're starting off with a basic plan, and you just need to, it's already selected because you've chosen that already. And then there are some extra services which you really don't need at this moment, because if you leave them selected, it is going to increase the overall bill you're going to pay. So these services are the domain privacy protection. You can uncheck it from here, and also uncheck the code guard basic. Yes, turn it off. You really don't need that now. If you need it in the future, you can activate it at any time. So uncheck all these other extra services that we don't require at this moment, and enter your payment information. A Visa card or MasterCard is accepted, that is enabled for international transaction. If you're in Nigeria and you have a Visa or MasterCard, you're good to go. If your card is not accepted, you need to visit your bank and make sure your card is enabled for international transactions. So you enter the credit card details here, and click click here to agree the terms and conditions, then choose submit. So when your information is accurate, if your purchase is successful, you'll be redirected a page that is going to look like the one I will show you right now. Right. If your purchase is successful, you will see a screen that looks like this with this message. So congratulations, you've successfully created a hosting account and registered your domain. It's time to complete your account creation process and install WordPress on your website. So you're going to click on create account, and after that you will be taken to the next window where you'll be required to create a password. Remember, your password has to be strong, and you need to secure it so that only you can have access to it. If anyone else has access to your password, they will be able to log into your website and even hijack your website from you. So you create your password from here, and each time you want to log into your website, you'll be required to, that password will be required in addition with the email address you provided or the domain. So having created your password, you can now log into your Bluehost account, and from your Bluehost account there are a lot of things you can do from there. One of the things, the first things which you will learn to do from there is to install WordPress on your domain. So the password you've just created, you enter it here and click login. So once you do that, you'll be taken to the next steps, which will help you create the sort of website you want to create. So you have to specify what website you want to create. Is it a blog? Is it an online store? Is it a business website or a pro website? So whichever you choose, it doesn't really matter. So you can simply just click on blog. So we can always change this at any time from the back end or the dashboard of our website. So just choose any one of these, preferably blog, and proceed to go to the next step. So here you'll be required to give a name to your website, such as this Cash Overflow Secrets, which I have just named this website. And you also be required to give a tagline. What's your website all about? So you describe briefly what your website is all about here as a tagline. And You can activate any of these features. You want to add a blog section to your website, you want the ability to sell stuff online on your website, you can tick this to activate them and move to the next step, which is to choose a theme. So like I have mentioned previously, a theme is what determines the look and feel of your website. And there are a lot of free themes on the WordPress, in the WordPress repository, which you can choose from. So one of my all-time favorite themes is the Astra WordPress theme. So yeah, it has a lot of free templates which you can easily import and build your website quickly. So select Astra and click proceed. Now that is it. Your site has been set up and you can launch it right now to see how it looks like by clicking launch your site. So when you do that, you'll see a message that looks like this. So congratulations, you've been able to register a domain. You've also been able to purchase a hosting account and install WordPress on your domain. So that is it. We are going to now learn how to log into the back end of our website. Whenever you want to go into the back end of your website, you are going to log into Bluehost. You can log into Bluehost and launch your site from there, or you can directly access your website by visiting uh, the admin area of your website. So there are two ways you can log into your website. Remember, for you to do anything on your website, you need to log into the dashboard of your website. So we are going to log into Bluehost right now and launch our site from there in order to see what else we can do with our website. So whenever you want to visit the dashboard of your website, that is the back end of your website, where you will be able to customize your website, add features, and do whatever you want on your website. You can simply just come to bluehost.com and click login. So once you do that, you'll be taken to your Bluehost account area, where you can access all the websites you've hosted on Bluehost. You see all the domains you've added on your Bluehost. So you can access the dashboard of your website directly from your Bluehost account. Right here is the login screen. So you can log in with the domain you register or with the email account that you registered plus the password. You just need to enter the password here and make sure it is correct and click login. So that will automatically take you to your Bluehost account area. All right, this is your Bluehost account area. This is your account area on Bluehost. This is the menu. So one of the options on the menu here is my site. So if you click here, you'll see all the sites you have hosted on Bluehost. In your case, it's probably going to be just your first website which you just created. But in my case here, I have a couple of sites hosted already. So you're going to see all the sites I have hosted with Bluehost. Right. So this is how your screen will look like, how your Bluehost dashboard will look like. So for you to access the back end of your website, which is the actual WordPress dashboard of your website, so you can install your theme, add plugins, design your pages, and do whatever you want to do, post content on your website, you have to log into your website. So to do that, you can simply click on login here and you'll be redirected to the dashboard of the website which you have just created. So also, this is our WordPress dashboard. This is the back end of your website. So you can see the menu with all the options here. This is how the back end of your website looks like, and only you as the site administrator should have access to the back end of your website. Anybody that has access to your dashboard can change a lot of settings on your website here. So you can explore the features and see what they look like. But in our next lesson, we will talk about the dashboard of our website and how to customize our website. So that is it for now. You just need to follow through the processes and learn how to register a domain. Also learn how to purchase your web hosting account and install WordPress. So, thank you.